As usual, I'll wait, probably another minute here before I get started. Sometimes it seems like YouTube, the processors have to catch up or something. I don't know. So, hi, hi Rebecca, hi Brandy, and hi to everybody else as you come in. If I don't, no, I don't have three wives. That was back in the '80s, and we can talk about that sometime. I'm very much a heterosexual, and I wasn't married to them, legally. That's not how I did it. It was more like a boyfriend girlfriend relationship, and they all knew what they were doing, and it's what we wanted to do. Hi. Okay. Well, I think we could probably get started now. Okay. Good evening, everybody. If I don't say hi to you as you come in, I don't mean to be unsociable or ungracious. It's just the nature of the thing, especially trying to keep track of that chat room there. The way it scrolls, it goes really really fast. Does everybody see okay? Everybody hear? Somebody just said there's no sound, but okay. So whoever said they didn't have any sound, it's probably from your end. But I will speak up a little higher. Okay. Let me tell you what happens here. This is not an iPhone, okay? It's a Motorola phone, and it has a jack in it, but it's only a jack for earphones. It doesn't have a jack for a mic, which is one of the downfalls of this. But I can't use my computer because it's just not set up to do this. So I apologize for the difficulty in the sound and sometimes the picture too. That's more of a function of the modem though, because I know the connection waffles quite a bit. All right, at least at this location. Okay. Yeah, I thought about a Bluetooth mic, and I might try that. Okay, maybe next time. The problem is that I'm a little deaf in my right ear. It's one of the things that happened to me when I was in the military, and so I can't put it in this ear. Well, I can, but then I'm only hearing on the outside from this ear. So anyway, there's some problems with that, but we'll see if we can work through the technical problems on those things. Okay. All right. So the reason why I decided to come on tonight was, first of all, Q put up some posts today, and if you're watching that, you will see them. I'm not going to go through them here. I'm going to encourage you. Tracy Beans doesn't have them up yet on this, but she will probably within the next 24 hours, I would think. And that way I'm not trying to force my interpretation on what I see there upon you, because we all need to look at this with our own eyes and our own experiences. That even Q has said that it's a group effort with everybody putting in their 2 cents worth from their experience, their heart, their mind, the way they view the world, their worldview, those types of things. This really is important that we all do that. So I'm not going to interpret all that. We are just going to talk about a few issues that Q addressed. So if you want to see that, I'm sure Tracy Beans will have that up probably tomorrow sometime would be it. Yeah, Destroying the Illusion was covering Q today too. Jordan Sather, I think I said once before, I've met him. We've actually sat down and had some time together, about 2 hours. Great young man. That's why I talk about him quite a bit. He has the younger generation. I don't know how many of those we have here, but he's an up and coming. He's very well versed in a lot of subjects, including the esoteric. So he's just a great guy all around. I've never really found him to be off course either. It's been pretty amazing. So officially, yes, everybody, I'm Roy Potter, and this is Roy Potter QA, my YouTube channel. And welcome. I'm glad you could come. See, I'm starting to remember to tell everybody who I am, even though you probably know anyway. Okay, so we're going to talk about Q. How many here have heard about Montagraph before? He's on YouTube. He has Montagraph, and then apparently he also, and I don't know this from my own information, but apparently he has some information that he puts out under October Rains. You guys might know that. I didn't. I found that out from another way. I've watched Montagraph off and on over the years. I've always found him to be very, very well versed, very intelligent. And so we're going to cover some stuff that he put out yesterday. Okay, so let's get to Q first, so that you know what we're worried about. I might begin first of all with the CIA MEU whole deal that was going on. You know, a lot of people are pulling, and I said this yesterday, I think it was, they're pulling up a Breitbart article from 2015. Make sure you check the dates of these things as you pull them up. I appreciate everybody getting eyes out there and looking for things, but just make sure you get the date, because that was, you know, that's 2 years old, that information. But it's an easy mistake to make. So just be aware, you know, when you're looking things up, to do that. Also, if you have friends back, especially back in the Langley area, see if they can keep tabs on what's going on there. We're not getting any information about the ground, as I said before. Okay, so that's not to say on the Langley thing that Trump couldn't have called up or done it through Pompeo and said, look, you know, they've got a directed energy weapon pointed at our building here, and if we don't do what they say, they're gonna blow us to smithereens. And they've got the Marines, you know, located at a staging area, you know, 100 miles away, whatever they are. There is a base there where they are. Actually, it's about 180 miles from there, I understand. And that could be, but the point is we weren't seeing an MEU on the ground, and we still aren't. There's no sign of that there or anywhere else. So just so that you're aware, this is still a serious situation, as I explained, because the CIA is either calling it bluff or they're saying that they're going to do something to counter Trump, which could be very serious, and that's what we're going to get into today. Okay, so Q came out today, and he put out quite a few posts, actually. Please go look at them. And again, if you have a little problem doing that, watch Tracy Beans tomorrow. I'm hoping that's not going to be too late. And you'll understand why I'm saying that here in a few minutes. Before I decided to do this today, I've spent hours and hours with some people that I'm working with in the military and law enforcement, etc., on what all of this means. And we couldn't come to a consensus. And frankly, they were saying, Roy, you probably shouldn't do the live stream tonight to explain this, because we really don't have anything nailed down. But I feel that it would be irresponsible on my part, at the very least, not to tell you what I see, okay? Whether it's accurate or not, it's not the point. The point is there are things going on here that should concern all of us, okay? All right, so I'm going against the consensus that I put this on, okay? Just so you know up front. I'm not doing it because I do enjoy talking to you all. That's not the point. I don't really want to be up here, you know, for my entertainment, which I'm not, and I hope you understand that. This isn't something that I do for my own ego, all right? I do it because I'm concerned for the Republic and for you and everyone, all right? Okay, so Q put this thing out today, and I'm just going to make some general explanations. He sounded almost frantic. He was talking about Twitter going to war against Trump, that they're using cookies to track him. Now, we already knew that was happening once before. Well, now the Secret Service is apparently saying, hey, this is getting serious, you know, maybe you shouldn't do that. It's another way to shut him down, okay? However that's going to work out. Now, they should have the technology to be able to mask his phone on Twitter. We'll see if they actually pull that off or not. I don't know how that'll occur. But anyway, there was that. Q brought up the subject of Red October. Well, if you remember the movie of Red October, it was the hunt for Red October. And when I first saw it, I thought he was talking about the communist, you know, Bolshevik Revolution, Red October. But as we were looking at the thread there on Q, we realized that he's actually talking about, you know, the possibility that North Korea has a nuclear sub that we now can't find. There's something going on with an Argentine sub that apparently is in distress somewhere in the Atlantic, but we're not really sure that that's anything but a cover story. Now, none of this is verified, okay? I'm just showing you kind of how all of this is bubbling to the surface. And I'm going to leave most of what I tell you tonight for you to decide how it relates to what you should be doing, okay? Because that's just the way it is. So, yeah, Red October, at first when I looked at it, I thought it was about the coup, the overthrow of the country. But in Q's thing today, I think he's talking about a missing submarine. Now, back in 2013, you may remember that there was a missile fired from an unknown source off the LA coast, Los Angeles coast, and the missile headed west. And people were thinking it was a fireworks from a sailboat or something like that. Well, the consensus of opinion, again, from what's happened since then, is that a Chinese nuclear sub had penetrated our defenses, and they wanted to show us that they had the capability to do that. And they fired a missile, from the submarine below the surface and headed it out west. And then the submarine disappeared. That's basically what occurred. If any of you remember that, you can probably go back and find out, a mysterious launch from off the coast of LA. It was about 10 miles out, something like that. All right, well, then there was the situation with the Malaysian jet that disappeared. Remember, it took off from Malaysia and was headed to Beijing, and it disappeared. You remember that? Well, on board that plane, there were scientists that were studying, cloaking devices, and that sounds like Star Trek type stuff, but this is all electronic. They've learned a lot about stealth and about electronics and how to hide your signature and all these other things. So that plane disappeared, and Field McConnell did an expose of that. He's with Able Danger, and he pretty much put out that jet actually was taken to Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean. What happened to the passengers? We don't know. They were apparently listed as lost, but there are a lot. Yes, 377. We don't know all the details of that. We just know that the plane disappeared for no reason. They never found any wreckage or anything. Well, Field McConnell says it landed at Diego Garcia. Whether the people were allowed to live or not, I don't know. A very sad situation, but obviously the technology was considered more important than the lives of the people on that plane from all indications. Well, so what could be happening here right now with Q? I think he's saying that things are getting hairy. Okay, that's the way I'm looking at it. He talked about the submarine. He did talk about who really runs North Korea. And I think we're all starting to come to an understanding now that the CIA and Hillary Clinton and maybe Obama, those people, I'm interpolating a little bit here, so I might not be right, okay? I'm not saying I'm exactly, 100% right on the money here. But who runs North Korea? Probably the CIA. We've been thinking it's China. Maybe in the last few years it isn't. And there's some indications, of course, that it's being used as I guess you could say, the command center for those who want to challenge the United States. We've always known that North Korea would pretty much be the firecracker that started off the Third World War. A lot of us have been saying that, but we probably didn't understand all the sub meanings of what was going on, all the hidden agendas. And so it's very likely that the CIA is going to use North Korea to challenge Trump, more so than in the Middle East, more so than, Russia's not really an enemy. China is more of an enemy than Russia, but North Korea, if CIA is running it, the CIA is what? It's on my channel here, right? The intelligence community is our most dangerous domestic enemy, and apparently if they're running North Korea, they're dangerous because of that reason as well. So that's another thing that Q kind of hinted around about. And then there was some information that he said he had to put this out today, that he doesn't normally make these posts during the day. So that should tell us something. And what I'm thinking it is that it's an urgency. He had to get it out today. And I think the North Korea thing and the situation that the CIA put out as a psyop against Trump and us about the takeover of the CIA by the Marines was preempting Trump's plans, okay? And they were showing that they knew about it and that they were prepared to counter it. Okay, that's there's a lot more to Q today, but that's kind of setting the stage for what I'm going to say next, okay? You kind of got the feel for that. Again, watch Tracy. If you don't have access to the Q posts on 4chan or on the archives, go ahead and listen to Tracy Beans tomorrow. I'm sure she'll have it. I'm going to move over to something else now, okay? Yesterday, Montagraph, I mentioned him earlier, and some of you know who he is. Very interesting guy, obviously very intelligent, knows a lot about the intelligence community, about world events, really keeps up on how he does that. I don't know his methods. I don't know his background. But I know when he tells stories, like yesterday, if you saw it, and I know I'm going through a lot of detail here, but you need to go see it. And by the way, do not, the group today was telling me, make sure you say on this live stream, if you do it, for your people, for the people that are listening to you, not to try to contact Montagraph, okay? Don't go to his channel and get in the comments there and start asking him questions about this. He doesn't like that, and he probably won't answer you, and it'll probably get him upset, okay? He's a very private guy. He gives out the information, and he'll look through the comments, but if you start asking him about what I'm going to tell you here, it's not going to go well for us, for you, or for us. So please don't go. That's a request from people that know him very well, not from Montagraph himself, but these guys have worked with him for a while, so I think there's probably some, common sense there, all right? All right. So it's called Cuckoo's Nest, C-O-U-P, comma, C-O-U-P apostrophe S, nest, N-E-S-T. Remember the old idea of the cuckoo's nest, right? Except it's spelled about with a coup, talking about a takeover of a country, especially the executive branch. All right, so that was the name of the video. You can go to his channel and watch it. I would encourage you to do that. And basically what he does is he tells a story about his YouTube video about Halbig, who is doing the investigation into the Sandy Hook shooting, and that he won his court case. They were trying to sue him or something. I don't know all the details, but they were trying to shut him down, trying to shut him up, and he won his court case. And so Montagraph was talking about that. And when he looked at the counters, the clicks or the thumbs up, he had like 1,000 of them, right? And he had like maybe 30 thumbs down. Well, apparently the next day he came back and he had like 1,000 thumbs down and only 40 thumbs up. In other words, the counter had been changed where it showed that he, was not getting people that agreed with him, I guess is the idea. And so he checked around. This is his story. He's telling this story. And so he checks around with his friends and they say, well, okay, we figured out what happens. And then he goes into this story. It's like the deal with, people are looking at a plane and they're all looking up at the plane and they all agree it's a plane, but then somebody in authority says, no, it's a bird. And so because people don't want to go against this authority figure, this is kind of the sense of it, then they start switching that, oh, okay, it's not a plane after all, it's really a bird, okay? And during this conversation that he's giving you, he points up like this and he shows you his left wrist. And he has a piece of tape on that wrist. And on it is this. You see this? 9/11/21/7. And I saw that and I'm going, what? And so, by the way, somebody told me to go look at this, okay? One of our team members. And so I'm looking at that and I'm going, what in the world is he doing there? And he never addresses it. He never points at it with his other hand. He never, brings it up in his conversation. He just shows it there. He does turn at one point. He's looking at his monitor and he can see you can't see the whole tape with all the numbers. So he's looking and he kind of turns like this so that you can see the whole tape, all right? Well, we've been studying this along with the Q thing all day long today. All day long. And no one has been able to come up with a reasonable, well, I won't say that. No one has come up with a decode of this that everybody agrees with. So Scott Anthony said to me, Roy, when you do your live tube, actually, I kind of went ahead because I was afraid it was getting late. I didn't get his last message yet. But he said, don't tell people what you think the code really means. Just give them the information and let them study it out. Okay, kind of like you do the Q posts. But there's one aspect of this that I can't allow that to happen because it's very, very important. It's very crucial. All right? And that's this. along with the Q posts today and Montagraph's presentation yesterday, I think they're related. And I'm going to give you just a little bit of information about this. I'm not going to give it all to you, okay? Because I want you to make your own conclusions. 9/11/21/7. We've broken it down into several possible combinations, but keeping it like this, okay? In other words, is this talking about 9/11, like September 11th? Is this the date, 11/21, which would be tomorrow? What's the 7? Does it have something to do with the Rothschilds? What's going on here? You see? Well, we tried different things. And this is I'm just going to present to you, this is not the consensus of our group, okay? I'm taking this on my own responsibility, all right? And Montagraph, forgive me if I'm mistaken or if I'm stealing your thunder. That was not my intent. It's just that you gave this out, and I think that you wanted us, like Q is doing, to try to figure it out for ourselves. You don't want that on you, and I understand that. I do. But I'm willing to do this because I'm concerned for our people, all right? Not that you aren't, Montagraph. You've already taken the step. But there are certain things that people that know things have to do, right, to keep going. And so I have a lot of respect for you, okay? All right. This is my estimation. I think that the situation with the North Korean sub, we're hearing it's an Argentine sub, at least one aspect of this story that's missing. Long ago, I said that it would be very easy for the North Koreans if they didn't have ballistic missile capability, which this time last year, even in the winter, our intelligence people were saying, no, they can't put a nuclear device on top of their missiles. They just don't have the technology. And now all of a sudden, they're telling us that they can. They were saying they were 5 or 10 years away, and now they're doing it just a few months later. Do you see what's going on here? And of course, the Clintons gave them all this technology back in the 90s, right? Okay. And of course, they're getting it from places like Iran and China, and I don't think Russia would do it. But regardless, the point is that I was looking at this and I was thinking, well, okay, they have a nuclear device. They could haul it in on a submarine or even a barge, right, and set it off the coast of Los Angeles, 5 miles, even 200 miles out, and would cause a lot of damage, on the coast there. But now it looks like they might be able to go through the Panama Canal, and I've told you about that in a prior video. They could have their North Korean special forces teams, whatever. I'm not trying to spread fear. What I'm trying to give you is some different possible scenarios about if North Korea is a problem in the next few days or whenever. Maybe they could fire a nuclear weapon in a missile and cause an EMP attack. I did have some information today that there are people in the military that know that those tests of those ballistic missiles were for the type of attack that you would use, the trajectory for an EMP type of event. Okay? That's how they explained it to me. So the point is, we have this thing with North Korea going on. We have the coup against President Trump, which the CIA is obviously involved in, the intelligence community. I think most people understand that now. We had the situation with the supposed, information on CIA and MEU, which isn't really developing the way it should have if it was real, right? And now we come to a situation where Montagraph puts this out, and in my estimation, this is what it says. I'm not going to talk about the 7. I want you all to figure that out. I think I know what it is, but I want you to figure it out. One reason why I don't want to say it is because everybody has to get prepared, okay? Because we really don't know. War is fluid. What the enemy does, including our own CIA, they're not going to show their hand. Just like Trump said, remember? I'm going to do things, but I'm not going to tell you before I do them. So it's the same thing. In my estimation, and again, our group is not totally agreed on this, I think it's saying that there's going to be a 9/11 event, a 9/11 level event, backing off again on November 21st, which is tomorrow, And then this is a code of some sort, probably for a location. Okay? And I think I've decoded that, but I don't want to say it at this point because if I'm wrong, everybody else will think that they're okay. Nobody's okay. Okay? If Montagraph is correct here, and if Q is putting out the information to warn us, and he had exclamation marks when he was saying this, I'm doing this because it's really important today. That should mean something to you that I'm doing it today. I'm doing it right now. And then exclamation marks, 3 of them. Like, this is urgent. So my gut feeling is, and I could be totally wrong here, and I hope to God I am, right? But something's going on tomorrow from all the information that we've got here, all right? So what am I saying? Whether or not, I don't know if it's going to happen, but there are pieces of the puzzle that are going together here that we need to take note of. Trump is at war, and the intelligence communities are at war with Trump and with the American people. I think we understand that, at least we should. They're being pulled down. The Saudis were taken down this, 2 weeks ago. And that funding that was going to Hillary Clinton and all that cabal there dried up from there. And then we had the situation where, Trump drank from the Fiji bottle. And that Friday, what happened? There was this crash in over the Rothschild estate. Now, Jordan Sather, you can go to his channel. I think it was something he put out. It was either yesterday or today. Pardon me, Jordan, if you're watching. I don't remember. I've been doing so much here. But Jordan showed some information from a news source, or it was I guess it was the Rothschild estate account or something like that, where it said that Jacob Rothschild had died. But then it was taken down within an hour or something like that. Who knows if that was true? But the point is that Trump said that he was going after that second side of the triangle. And then we had that event happen in Britain over the Rothschild estate. And there's a lot going on underneath the surface. They're not going to tell you what the truth is because knowledge is power, and there's a thing called operational security. They're not going to tell you what they're suffering or what their plans are, just like Trump isn't going to. Okay, so we're kind of in the dark here, but we have enough basic information to start drawing from to know that we've got to get ready. And how long have I been saying? Thanks to Mick, right? Prep, pray, and stay out of the way. The best that you can. And so I think it's upon us. I do. All right. So the whole purpose again of this live stream is to tell you that all of the situations that have happened since the attack in Las Vegas, and really we could go back to Trump when he was elected, because they turned on him right away. Even before he got elected, they were working against him, right? Hillary Clinton said what? To challenge the election is destructive to our democracy. Well, and what's she doing? These psychopaths, these sociopaths, always project onto others what they themselves do. They can't help themselves. They just do it. It's part of their DNA. So here we go. Trump also today, I think it was today, it may have been yesterday, he's now saying that North Korea needs to be declared as a terrorist state, that it supports terrorism. Well, I don't think anybody would doubt that. Of course, the United States has been doing it for years, but he's trying to fix that, okay? He's trying to fix that. And yet we have this problem with North Korea. So they did that, which leads some more credence to what Q is saying today about this submarine and about all these other things that are going on. Okay? All right. Again, from this, I would suggest that we're probably looking at a 9/11 level event tomorrow. At least that's the plan. I don't have proof of that. I can't swear to it. But I think we just need to be concerned about it. Somebody just put up, they thought that might be the 2017. That might be a good guess. I'm not going to go there, but you all make up your own mind and act accordingly. The big thing is here, we get ready for this. Yeah, the seventh state was Maryland. Yeah, there are a lot of possibilities here. And, D.C. is basically in Maryland. They took a chunk out of Maryland to make the District of Columbia. Who knows? It could be. I'm not pretending to know that. All I know is that Montagraph knows something. Q knows something. Montagraph put it out in a more tangible format as best he could. For whatever reason, the method, I don't know. But I suspect it's because he's probably, got to be careful because maybe of his access or whatever. I don't know. All right. So that's kind of what I wanted to get into. I don't see Scott here. We worked on this thing hard today. I'd say probably 8 hours at a minimum. And, I'm tired. Like I said the other day, I'm getting too old for this. But I wanted to give this as a heads up to everybody. I don't want you to panic. It's like the sinking Titanic, right? Don't panic. Panicking won't solve the problem. I just want you to be aware. Situational awareness, prep. You've got, another 8 hours, 10 hours. Definitely pray. You can do that at any time. And just try to avoid problem areas, whatever they turn out to be. And I don't pretend to know what they are. I've got a lot of, Scott and others and I have worked on this today, and there are a lot of possibilities across the country about things that could happen. But I think that I would just as soon keep that much information close to my chest at this point, primarily because they asked me to, okay? And I don't want to violate the terms of our agreements. So, and there are good reasons for that. It's not to keep you all in the dark. It's because it's actually for your benefit. All right? Okay. So that's what I wanted to present to you. I've already taken over a half an hour. If you have some questions, I'd be happy to take those. Let's see if I can keep up with these. We are going to a civil war. Yeah, well, we're in one. And, I've had some harsh things to say about the NSA because it's been used inappropriately. But apparently Trump has taken command of it with Admiral Rogers. And I'm not saying they're all good there. The whole principle of that surveillance program is bad, but at this point, we're just going to have to ride this out, I think. So there is a war between, and I've said that since when? The Boston bombing, do you remember? I said in my series in 2013, when, by the way, I had been kind of trashed by the CIA before that, bringing up, my personal life and those types of things, which they try, when somebody can't argue your points, then they resort to character assassination, right? And they'll bring stuff up. You see it in the Roy Moore thing, and I'm not saying that he didn't molest women. I don't know if he did or not. I never have. Any woman that's ever had anything to do with me has always been an adult and has always chosen to be with me, okay? That's just the way it is. But, when they resort to character assassination, it means they don't have, the strength of their convictions and the strength of their argument, the debate to carry on. And so, you're seeing that all over the place right now. That's just that's part of the deception. So what I would say is we just need to get ready for whatever's happening here, and let's forget about personal lives and all of that. What's important is that people survive, that the republic survives, that God is apparently at work here. This is, if you all have studied the war in heaven in Isaiah, there's some interesting stuff there. It's the war, and in the Dead Sea Scrolls, the war between the sons of light and the sons of darkness. This has been going on for a long time. I cannot believe how this is playing out in the world today, particularly in the United States. We're seeing it in Europe at a really high grade pitch as well. But what's happening here in the United States is so stare in your face obvious that the division between good and evil, you can't mistake it. You might choose the bad side thinking it's the good side, right? But that's just saying where your heart and your spirit is, all right? And you might be adamant, like the people in Antifa, that you're absolutely right. Well, you've made your choice, okay? So you've chosen that side. I'm saying that's the evil side. Anytime you take away liberty, anytime that you You attack the rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Liberty, and especially when Trump brought up the fact, he quoted Corinthians, right, in a speech. I think it was probably 2 weeks ago, and he said, "Wherever the Spirit of God is, there is liberty." And liberty is something that you allow others to have. It's not just for you. You give that gift to others because you want it for yourself. So again, I wanted to make sure everybody knew what was going on here. Let's see if I can answer any other questions. Get busy living or get busy dying? Yeah, pretty much. Okay. Wow, this goes by. I'm with you, Roy. Thank you. Somebody asked about Robert David Steele. Yes, he's former CIA. Like anybody, I like Steve Pachinik too. I like a lot. Colonel Anthony Schaefer. He was trained by the CIA. Just like in anything, you get really good people and you get really bad people, and you get people that especially in the spook area, that do things for their own benefit. How they view the world, their worldview. And so Steve Pachinik has done things I don't like, and I've talked about that in the past, and yet he does a lot of stuff I do like. And the same situation with Steele. I've never really found a disagreement with Anthony Schaefer, probably because we're both Army officers. But, I have found myself slightly at odds with him on the situation with our strategic foreign policy. But, he's been trained in that, and that's kind of his genre. And so he's going to react according to that. But I'm not quite into agreement with him on that. But that's okay. And everything else, we're pretty much right down the line. Okay, and they all use the usual stuff. Let's see. Wow, I don't know how to stop this thing. I'm afraid if I touch it, I'll really mess up. No, whoever's asking if it was rated by the Marines, Langley, no. And I put a lot of information out about that now. There's no evidence of that. Like I said, it does. Pardon me, my nose itches. And it's not because the evidence wouldn't have been there if it was going on, if it was an actual MEU. You're talking about like 2,000 troops plus all of their equipment. There's no way. Now, like I said earlier in this transmission, could Trump have pointed a satellite-directed energy weapon at Langley and said, you guys got to surrender? And if you don't, we're going to blow you to smithereens. And then the MEU that's 180 miles from you, or they're in closer staging areas, they could have been. They're just not around Langley like we were being told. That wasn't what was going on. There weren't helicopters. There weren't, armored vehicles. There weren't hundreds and hundreds of troops, Marines. No, there was none of that. But could he have done it from a satellite and threatened them? Sure. But I don't see the effects of that either. We're not seeing that, especially with this situation now with North Korea, the lost sub, what Q said today, and the situation that we have for Montagraph. It's looking like the war is going hotter and hotter by the day. Again, prep, pray, and stay out of the way, right? No, I'm not going to tell you what I think the 7 is. I agreed with the team that I'm working with not to do that. As a matter of fact, they didn't want me to go this far because they're thinking some other things about this, okay? They're thinking that 21 could mean like blackjack in Las Vegas, all right, for instance. But when all of this came out, we had a half a dozen different possibilities. And I'm not in charge of this. Don't think I'm in charge. I'm not. But I was the one that was going to give this presentation. And I just told them, I said, look, I'm going back to the basics. This is getting really convoluted. Not that it isn't. But I think we need to go back to the basics, which are what? Something could happen tomorrow. I pray that it doesn't. I can't prove that it's going to. But we've had 2 indications from Q. Well, actually 3. We've had the situation with Trump declaring North Korea a terrorist state and all the stuff that's been going on with him, right? We have the situation with Q, and now the situation with Montagraph, all pointing to something happening real quick. And we've been saying for weeks and weeks that within a few weeks, some major incidents were going to occur. Okay? So just keep your situational awareness out there and know what's going on. Yeah, Chaldean roots, that's an interesting thing, isn't it? Yeah. And all of that could play in. I think we've pretty much nailed, at least, and these different codes, as I pointed out, could have different levels and different interpretations based on the systems and the time period. There's so much that can get involved here. So we're trying to just keep it basic now, okay, at this point. Yeah, Trump would probably call for martial law, and the deep state will be in tribunals. That might be the way it goes. Um, I am not certain that Trump has the entire DOD on his side. I'm not certain of that. Uh, that's why we as Americans have to be prepared, to deal with however this thing goes down. And again, nothing might happen, even though Gore said that they were going to take Trump out. Philip Mudd of the CIA said they were going to take Trump out. Clapper and Brennan said they were going to take Trump out. And then finally Jeb Bush said he'd be gone by December. You don't make threats like that. And everybody in the world can talk about killing Trump and killing Christians and killing constitutionalist Americans, especially white ones, right? Nothing against all the rest of the Americans, but that's the one right now. And they get banned off of Twitter. I saw today that Blonde and the Beast, I think is her name. She's afraid she's going to get banned. Roger Stone has. A lot. Other people have, for not saying anything near what I see these leftist groups saying, and they get a pass, and we all know about that. Hell, they censored me last week. Do you remember? Or maybe it was 2 weeks ago. Do you remember that? Because I was commenting. I didn't even use 4-letter words. I used the stars, the suggestion. And they still censored me. They didn't ban me. They censored that tweet so that it couldn't be forwarded by anybody else. So this is a real war. There's no doubt about it. And it's already a shooting war. It already is. You're just not seeing it at that level yet. But that's already happened. Okay, and it's probably going to increase in magnitude and frequency. That would be my guess. All right, cyber war definitely going on. That's basically what I was talking about earlier with them messing with Trump's Twitter account. And of course, Twitter is talking about really kicking into high gear in December. If you guys are keeping track of that, that's coming. The way they're censoring people on Facebook, on everything now. Jordan Sather has been demonetized and he's had to depend upon Patreon. Okay, those kinds of things. We know that's going on. Okay, boy, a lot of you guys have some good stuff here. And that's why I think my team, not my team, but the team I'm working with, and I am on Gab. I think I've told everybody, go to Gab and find me at Roy P. At capital ROY capital P. I am there. I don't check it often because I'm working all this other stuff, but every once in a while I do. Okay. All right. Let's see what else we have here. World media on the tribunals. Worldwide media. Yeah. Water, food, medical supplies, ammunition. Ways to protect yourself, and medical supplies, and something you can barter with. Something that you can have to help you get maybe what you need. Like let's say you have paper, and somebody else wants to trade you for however you want to work that out. Just have some barterable commodities that you can get what you need. Gasoline's good, absolutely. Bazooka bubble gum, yeah. Tobacco, yeah, for some people that's true, yeah, absolutely. Anything that people would want is a commodity that you can use for trade. All right, we're in World War III, or actually it's World War IV. We're really in it right now. It's going on, and it's a war. It's a war for the hearts and minds of men and women. I mean mankind. It's a war for the hearts and minds of mankind. The scriptures say that in these days that the merchants of the earth, the New World Order, okay, Satan's kingdom, would traffic, would barter, would merchandise in the souls of men. Not just slavery in the normal sense of the term, but we also know that they're actually human trafficking women and children in particular. And I'm not going to repeat here what they do to them, but they think that by treating them the way they do in these god-awful places, like Epstein's Island there in the Caribbean, that when they treat these women and these children the way they do, that they suck their souls out of them, actually their spirit. Okay, these evil people really believe that, and if you do a little research, you'll understand what's going on. And apparently, and I'm just going to say it because Craig Sawyer has talked about this, I think it's coming out more and more, the military, the CIA, private contractors have all been involved in not just drug trafficking, weapons trafficking, etc., but in human trafficking. And that's part of why Vegas was what it was. Saudi Arabia is big in that. They've been these human traffickers for a long time. And Trump said that's all coming to an end. That's why he was over there. That's all coming to an end. ISIS, supporting Islamic terrorism, that's coming to an end. If not, we're going to come in. We're going to take you out. All right, so they've made a deal on that. And I know a lot of the things that are going on with Saudi Arabia don't make much sense. They don't to me either, okay? I'm not going to get involved in that in this discussion, but this human trafficking thing is the currency of the elites who are into pedophilia, into real misogyny, denigrating women and doing things to them for their own appeasement and aggrandizement. All right. Okay. What state is Region 7, folks? That's a good question. So there you go. That's the kind of thing that we need to have a discussion on. What is FEMA Region 7? I don't know offhand. I don't. All right. Serves the states of Iowa, Kansas, Missouri. Okay. That's a possibility. Okay. Again, that's a possibility. There are things there that, if you attack that part of the heartland of the country, that sends a message. Absolutely. More so than even Los Angeles or New York. So good point. Good point. Can't fight the weapons they have. That's why you have to stay out of the way the best that you can. The militias, I'm not a member of a militia. The militias that think that they can go out there. I mean, you can protect your neighborhood, from roving bands of Antifa and BLM and Zetas and criminals and that kind of thing. You can't go up against the military. That's crazy. And anybody who even thinks they can do that is absolutely crazy. So I'm not even going to go there. But militias who think they can do anything but protect their local communities are really stretching. They're really having illusions of grandeur there. Now, I'm not talking about special forces operators who are patriots. Now, they can do some damage. And there might be some militias that have those, but I don't think there are many of them. Most of the special forces people, they know who they can trust, and most of them aren't going to go into a militia organization. That just ain't going to happen. Not saying it doesn't, but it's not going to be often. Okay, full armor of God. Yes, Jeff, I agree. St. Louis Arch, I don't know. I'm not sure about that. 7 equals 7 computers named after 7 dwarfs. Yeah, that's interesting. See, that could go along with Trump taking out the CIA, right? But Montagraph didn't give this, in my estimation, as saying that Trump's on the move with this. I didn't get that feeling, okay? I didn't get that interpretation. The interpretation was something more sinister, is the way I looked at it, okay? San Diego is the next false flag. Could be, NORAD is in Colorado. By the way, in case you don't know, I'm probably sticking my neck out here. Well, I've done that my whole life, right? I mean, that comes out all the time. I'm always sticking my neck out. But again, because I really believe in the constitutional republic and in the perfect law of liberty, and that where the Spirit of God is, there is liberty, and all that. I've always believed that, and I'm willing to go out on a limb for it, which is why I decided to do this video when they asked me not to go this far, okay? Same thing. I'm willing to take that responsibility on myself. NORAD is at Cheyenne Mountain in Colorado, all right? And most of you should know what NORAD is. What you probably don't know is that its sister facility is at a place called Bluffdale, Utah, which is the same place where the NSA big storage building is that I did a story on here about 2 weeks ago. Isn't that interesting? Just so that you know. So yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff. Utah, as I said, is the military industrial intelligence security complex center almost. I mean, that the whole state's almost built on that. It's really crazy. There's a lot of crazy stuff here. Okay, let's see. All right. Well, I think Trump's idea, I don't know how he could take the CIA out without using the military. And that was the whole thing about what we heard about going on that was going to possibly happen this weekend, or that had happened. Because I know that's the only way it can be done. I don't think it can be done any other way. It's just that the evidence of that wasn't on the ground. We just didn't see it. And again, if it had been a directed energy weapon that Trump threatened him with the MU, far away, ready to come in, yeah, possibly, but that's not what happened. I mean, we wouldn't be seeing all this other stuff, Q and this going on, and all this commotion going on, if that had happened, things would be, a lot different. So no, it didn't happen. It's pretty obvious. Okay. There was almost a 4.0 earthquake in Oklahoma yesterday. Yeah, a lot of earthquakes are increasing. Does CPA? Yeah. Deep State operates in Nevada. That's why I'm saying it's pretty much one of the hubs for human trafficking, both for women and children. Yeah. I'm very suspicious of the area, what's used to be called Area 51. You don't put victims, women and children that you're trafficking in on commercial transportation. You just don't. As I said, you use CIA, military, or private contractors like Paddock, okay, which is the way that's come out. Yeah, a lot of human trafficking over the Mexican border. It's really everywhere. And I have some intimate knowledge of that, which I've talked a little bit about in the past. I was involved in the Franklin cover-up investigation to a small degree, just as an example. So I've been involved in this in a long time. Yeah, Colorado Springs is NORAD. Hi, Scott. All right. Anything else here that you guys would like to address? All right. Wonderland. Yeah, it looks like it was Saudi Arabia. Yeah, for sure. Go over. I missed that. Dirty Bomb in North Carolina. That was, what, a year ago? 6 months ago that George Webb and Crowdsource the Truth Jason Goodman brought up, and it really raised a lot of issues. Because they were so sure about it. And that's why I'm telling you I'm not sure here. I don't want to fall into that same category of saying this is inevitable. I don't know that. But all I'm saying is that all of the pointers are saying look out. Okay, look out. Okay, somebody wants me to review the 9/11 21/7 meeting, and I will do that because that is what we're doing here. Again, this is from Montagraph. Go to Montagraph's channel and watch the video that he put up. And he's done nothing since then, which a lot of the people that I deal with tell me that that's an indication that he has some real serious information. Don't go ask Montagraph. That's another thing. Before I even go here, okay, the people I'm working with, they know Montagraph, they deal with him, and if you go to his channel and inundate him with questions about this, it's going to piss him off, okay? It's going to get him upset. I've never talked to him, but these people know him, and they told me to make sure to tell everybody that came on here not to go and inundate Montagraph. Do your own research, okay? And this is what we were saying. I don't know what this means exactly. We tossed around a lot of possibilities today. My take is that the basics, after everything complicated we looked at, I said we're going back to the basics when I do this thing tonight. 9/11's level event is going to happen on November 21st, and I think this is a location. I don't know that for sure, but I think it's a location. I said I'm not going to cover that. I think I know what it is, but we agreed that I wouldn't say that because we don't want anybody to, first of all, we don't want to panic. We just want everybody to get ready and to be aware that something could be coming down the pike sometime tomorrow. It could be a time. It could be 7 a.m. Who knows? I'm not certain of that. And Montagraph didn't give any other information. He just put his hand up. You saw the tape with those numbers on it and his little story, and that's all you got. Okay? Yeah, don't bother them. Okay. I'm not going to talk about the Hindenburg. Vault 7, CIA, yeah. Okay, let me see. Did he point up? Yeah, but he was talking, but he did that so you could see the tape on his arm. He wasn't indicating that it was something from the sky. I don't think that's what he was doing. He was talking about planes and birds. So who knows? Maybe it's a Flight 7 and maybe it's a plane. Possibly, okay? But I don't think that was the gist of what he was doing. He just was using the story so that he could talk about, so he could point up and show you his wrist. I really think that was what he was about. I could be totally wrong, and if he's watching this, he could say, "Oh, you stupid idiot, Potter! You're way off base." But at least we're talking about it, right? Just like Q, we don't know exactly everything he's doing, but it's making us talk about it. It's raising our awareness. Okay, witness testimony that started today, or is it tomorrow? Anyway, it's the FBI informant, and they've already, he's already had threats on his life and some attempts to keep him from testifying. So. And I haven't been watching the news today in that regard, so I don't know what's been happening. It might be tomorrow. You need mods. Yeah, probably I do. I've heard about that, right? Trump's on defense after Vegas. Well, exactly. from the very beginning, when he took office, I've been saying, and a number of other people that know, especially military officers, have been saying, you need to go on the defensive, Trump. These people are not your friends. You're not going to win them over by giving them, access to markets and all that. I mean, that's necessary for a country, but that's not how you're going to win this, because the only thing they understand is force. You're going to have to go after him, like Hillary. A week after he got into office, or got voted in, it was after the election, he was saying he wasn't going to go after Hillary. Bad mistake. Now, did that play into some drama down the road, like Sessions and all this other stuff that's going on? Well, I don't know, because right now, something failed. I'm going to be harsh on Trump. A lot of people were saying, why do you get harsh on Trump? I've even had that over the last 24 hours. People saying, why are you always so hard on Trump? Well, I'll tell you why. Because if we don't, the American people are responsible for our liberty. It's not even Trump. Trump's just the symbol. The government's supposed to work for us, not the other way around. And our liberty is our responsibility. Freedom, liberty, rights are responsibilities. Break the word down. What does it mean? It means that you have the ability to respond, right? So if they take away, or if they try to take away your God-given, constitutionally protected Second Amendment right to protect yourself, how can you be able to respond to protect yourself? You can't. They've taken that responsibility away from you. First thing with the First Amendment and all of that, freedom of speech, everything. So look at rights as responsibilities, your ability to respond. Okay, that's a good way to break that word down to understand what it is. And Trump is in trouble. After Vegas, that was an attack on the American people, on Trump, and the opening salvo of the Saudi Civil War coup attempt on American soil that caused the loss of American lives. Horrible. And injuries. Horrible. Trump failed there. I'll just say it. He failed. Why? I think there are a lot of reasons. Do I hate him for it? No. He's in a hell of a position. But he has to wake up and realize what he's dealing with. And he may have known all along. A lot of people say he's doing 4D chess, and I've been real impressed with him the last 3 weeks. Okay? Real impressed. Real impressed. More so than any time in the past. Okay? I think the Spirit of God's working on him now. I really do. More so than before. And I think he recognizes what's really happening here. Okay. All right. They're starting to interfere with my connection, so I guess we're kind of done. When I start seeing those messages, that's not good. All right. Any other questions I can answer for anybody? Not that I've answered anything really well, but you kind of get the, although the indictments. Good point, Yvonne. A lot of those around, we know it's the foot soldiers they're going after right now. Okay, a lot of rumor about the possibility that Hillary Clinton has a bracelet on because she's wearing an ankle cast, a brace, and McCain and all that. I don't know. I can't substantiate that. It is odd that so many of them are doing it at the same time, but I don't know. And even if that's happening, you got to understand that the CIA and the New World Order is going to fight back. They're going to fight back. Just because Hillary gets collared, let's say she got collared tomorrow. Let's say that the FBI raided her and they haul her off in handcuffs and arraign her in court and all that. Let's say that happens. That's not going to solve our troubles. If anything, it's going to make it worse, at least for a while. We're going to be in a big fight. This is crazy what we're getting into here. So, we have to be prepared. A bus ran over a Hillary's toe. It could be, and I don't know. I really don't know. Indictments, Mueller or Sessions. My information on that is not as complete as I would like. I don't know. We're going to have to wait and let that work out. Okay, I can't say for sure either way or the other. I think that there's a possibility Mueller and Sessions could both be playing a drama, due to the circumstances. Mueller being called in with Trump the day before, the Rosenstein made him the special counsel. I don't know. This is the time of deception and betrayal. Who really knows what's going on? Yeah, most of the indictments so far have been for MS-13, but we've seen a few things with uranium-1. One was in New Mexico, and another was in an arrest that was actually made, I guess, last July. And the guy pleaded guilty in court last week. I think it was in New York. I could be wrong about that. So there are things that are happening here. And Hillary is obviously scared. It's real obvious when you see what she's doing. When people start attacking others, like she's attacking, everybody, that's a sign that she doesn't have an argument anymore. And she has to resort to personal attacks. When you see that, it's usually the characteristic of a sociopath or a psychopath, and that's what you're seeing with Hillary. It's real obvious. Okay, did you see her with Bill last night? No, I didn't. No, I've been doing too many of these other things. Of course, McCain is really playing up his brain problem now, which he's going to try to blame all of his inappropriate treasonous conduct on. I don't know if he'll get away with it. Okay. Antifa is out in full force. Well, like I said, that little kind of blowout on the 4th of November certainly didn't show off Soros's $18 billion that he's doling out. So something's still in the wind, and this could be a convergence of forces. That's a tactical term. You have different assault avenues of approach, right? And you try to time it in such a way that it meets the commander's intent. And in fact, Soros and Obama and all of these people could be having it so all of these forces mass and hit at the same time. That's very possible. That might be, I'm not saying that's their plan, but it certainly would make sense from a military point of view. Okay, Charlie Rose, the PBS guy, yeah. I don't believe Scaramucci's Q, and I talked about that last night. That wouldn't match up. I have my own ideas about that, but it definitely doesn't include Scaramucci. No, not in the least. Keystone, that's a good idea there. A lot of people think it was the spill, and in South Dakota that was a coinkydink, as Montagraph would call it, and others. I don't think that's what it's referring to. There are several possibilities. I don't know that I'm prepared to address that. It could even be something to do with the sacrificial temples of the pedophiles. There are some possibilities there. Okay, why so many with left? Yeah, why? Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't know if it's makeup or if they've really been punched out. I don't know. Somebody asked why are there so many people with black left eyes? Like they've been hit. I don't know. Maybe it's divine intervention. Yeah, I'm not sure. Okay, is Rothschild dead? No idea. Jordan Sather, as I said earlier, put up a thing where they announced his death, but then it was taken down almost immediately. So we don't know. But something happened in Britain, not just the airplane crash. That could have even been a distraction, so that the hit teams, if there were some, could accomplish their mission. Who knows? Nobody's going to tell us the truth about that. Nobody. Okay, crash is the cover story. Exactly. It could very well be. Usually, what ends up in the mainstream media, usually what you see there isn't the truth. It's to get you off of the real fact of the matter. Okay, obviously. Montagraph is a cook. Well, he could be. Maybe he cooks pretty well. I'm not sure. I don't know him personally, like I said. American Media Intelligence Channel says he did the president's eyes. Oh, I missed that. Yeah, man, this thing just goes too fast. Yeah, the keystone is a stone that holds. Yeah, and that's true, and that's why I referred to the temple of the pedophiles. That's why I referred to that. That's right. And they would have the keystone there, and they would have similar stones in other ritual devices, I guess you would call it. Okay. Could the Q post today be bogus, a psyop? In intelligence, you always have to assume that. So you look at the context, you look at the syntax and some other things, and I think they're genuine. I think they're legit. based on the content, based on the way that it's arranged, and the fact that they're trying to give this warning, which again matches up, I think, with Montagraph's deal. Okay, so yeah, so I'll tell you what. That's a good idea. How to slow down the chat. I don't know how to do it, and I don't want to touch it now. And I'm sorry, I'm not a tech master, but maybe somebody can send a private message to me on YouTube, not in the comments section. Send a private message to me on YouTube, and tell me how to do that. And any other questions that I might be able to answer on the next live stream or recorded video program. Okay. All right. Yeah, and I'm not sure how to do that, so somebody's going to show me how. And I don't want to touch. Well, I'll touch. If I lose you, okay, we'd be done. Is Benjamin Fulford legitimate? I've never had a whole lot of interest in following him. Okay, I don't. I don't follow him. Okay, yeah, I don't know how to slow down the chat. I don't see a way to do that. Oh, maybe it's this right here. Hold on, let me see. Oh, slow show. Okay, show live chat. No, that's not how you slow it. Yeah, I can't see here, and I won't mess with it now. Sorry about that. Trump could be bombing opium labs in Afghanistan. Yeah, with the opiate problem we have here in the country, which is obviously being done by the CIA again, right? Then I wouldn't blame you. But he's bombing CIA facilities, which they're not going to look too kindly on either. They're still going to consider that a war on them. Okay, Fort McClellan, Alabama. Yeah, that was one of my favorite posts. I love Fort McClellan. I really enjoyed it. Clicking and use the mouse scroll wheel. I don't have that. I'm on a phone. Okay, I'm not on my computer, and there's nothing here that shows me how to do that. If you swipe it downward, it stops. Then a blue arrow appears to get it going again. Swipe it down. No, I better not do that. We'll try. I'll do it when everybody's asleep. One night I'll get up in the middle of the night and I'll play with it myself, where I won't cause any problems. Okay. Could 7 be Building 7? It could refer to. It's not Building 7, of course, because Building 7 fell. It doesn't exist anymore. But it could refer to a similar incident. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it could. Yeah, like I say, everybody can look at this and just try to figure it out, and then give us some information on Twitter. Of course, I'm on Twitter at Royston Potter, at capital ROYSTON, capital POTTER, or anybody else. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Again, somebody asked about the 3 wives thing. I wasn't legally married. Okay. So, yeah, it was more. It's a long story. It was part of my spiritual journey, and I'll tell you this much about it. Okay. It's a fantasy that a lot of men have. It doesn't, there's in most situations, it's an illusion of grandeur. Okay. No, like I said, it was a spiritual journey, and most people wouldn't understand that at this point. But if you look at the history of it and what I was willing to give up to stand up for 2 things: my spiritual understanding at the time, which is guaranteed under the First Amendment, and the fact that I don't believe that government should have anything to do with contract relationships. It says so in the Constitution, and especially between men and women, the relationship between men and women. The government doesn't need to get involved in that, and it shouldn't, because that's Satan's plan, is to divide that up and to put himself in the middle of that relationship. And you see that when you look at the Garden of Eden, right? The first chapter or the second chapter of Genesis. What happens? Satan, who obviously, could be the government, right? And that's kind of how it's been used over the millennia, tries to insert himself between the husband and the wife, like he's got some right to do that. And I don't believe that anybody has a right to interfere with the relationship between a man and a woman. And the scriptures say so. What God has joined together, let no man put asunder. So it's nobody's business, okay? Newt Gingrich, a lot of people want to. Okay, that April brought this up, right? I didn't want to go there, not because I wouldn't talk about it, but because, she obviously had to resort to that in order to try to defend, her position. It doesn't help her to argue her case or argue her position on the CIA presentation. It doesn't do that. All it is a character attack. But I will bring up Newt Gingrich as an example. Nobody talks to him about his personal life. He has what they call an open marriage. He and his wife have an open marriage. I don't go there, and I don't do that. Anyway, it gets into some other theological issues, and really it's nobody's business. Leave Newt alone. Yeah, I agree. People's private lives are their own business. The only time it matters is if children are being abused, right? Child marriage is crazy. That's crazy. It's morally incorrect, obviously. And forcing somebody into a relationship, however it's done, blackmail, whatever, is wrong too, because happiness has to be an individual choice. You can't force happiness on anyone, or your own happiness you can't force on anyone, right? So you have to have this liberty, you have to have this understanding, and people need to enter into their relationships, whether in contracts in business or in their personal lives, with understanding and knowing everything. As a matter of fact, part of contract laws is that if you get into a contract and you weren't told, I forget what they call it legally, but it's when you're not fully aware of all the details of the contract, they keep some of it hidden from you, that's cause for an annulment of the contract, right? All right, get back on topic. Lois, you're great. Well, I only brought that up because people always want to get you off topic. Right, so you're absolutely right. Montagraph, it was really a plane, he said. Look at us. Yeah, could be. Roy is spicy. Oh, you have no idea. Lois, I'm sorry. I got to say this. Women like me. I'm sorry they do it. I like them, okay? And I treat them very, very well. I treat them very well. I consider women to be a gift to men. Men don't deserve women, but if they become close to you, it's a gift. It really is. Shaking head. Yeah, too much information. Hey, we're all adults here, right? I mean, we could really get juicy if you want, but we won't do that. Roy, I've been hearing a lot of weird things. Do you think of Q could be an alien? No. Q's no alien. No. As a matter of fact, I have, and I said this the other day, I am reasonably sure, I'm about 90% sure that I know that Q, first of all, is a team. It's not an individual. It has to be, because the manner in which it came out and the way it functions. Plus, I've been in intelligence operations before, so I understand it from that point of view. And I also know some secrets. I don't want to call them secrets. That's wrong. Personality traits of Trump about who he would trust. Okay, and I think that those are the people that are actually closest to him that are doing most of this. Pam, how you doing, Pam? Yeah, sorry I didn't tell everybody this was coming on. I've got a lot of friends who are going to be upset, but it's been a rough day today. Rough. So a lot of this I just didn't think about telling anybody that we were going to do this, other than what I put on Twitter. That's about all I got to. Noah's Ark and Turkey, yeah, but that's kind of off topic too, Lois. I'm sure wouldn't want us to get on that. Again, go to Montagraph's channel. Somebody just brought up, Monty uses numbers in pairs, 9, 11, 11, 21, right. Exactly, which is why I talked about this the way I did. That's the question there. Could it be that this means 21, November 21st, 2017? Either way, to me, that means tomorrow something is probably up. And you need to have your situational awareness out there. You need to have your prep, pray, and stay out of the way business taken care of, okay? Just in case. October Reigns, really? Is he here? I didn't see it. Well, of course, we all know who that is, right? Yeah. Hi, Montagraph. Hi. I hope we haven't inundated your channel. And I told everybody I have some people that I'm working with on all of this. And they know you. I don't know if they know you actually personally, but they said just encourage the people that you talk to tonight not to go, yeah, I am Montagraph. Hi, Monty. Not to let them inundate Monty because he doesn't like that. And so I tried to explain that. But now that you're here, as far as I'm concerned, the show is yours. You know, if you want to, I don't know how to slow down the chat room, so I don't know what you would like to say. But as you can see from the information that we're getting there about you, everybody seems to know who you are, and they've all got hearts and saying they love you. I know I have a lot of respect for you, which is why we're talking about what you did on this situation here, okay? And I don't pretend to know all the details about this, Monty. I don't. But a team of us have been working at it today, okay? And we have a couple of deals, and we kind of talked about just everybody be ready, basically, at this point. Just be ready right now. You know, I got to be ready now. So let's see if you have any. Scott Anthony. Good. Scott Anthony's here. Hi, Scott. Wow, I didn't plan. I'm glad you guys are here. Yeah, you can see now I don't feel like I'm standing up here alone. You know, you guys are going through this yourselves. Send me your phone number. Okay, I'll do that, Monty. I'll send you a PM on YouTube either tonight or tomorrow morning. Okay, or you're on Twitter too, right? I might send you a DM there. Either way, I'll get you that. Okay, and I appreciate you asking. I'm certainly I don't want to step on your toes. You're an excellent source of information. Okay, let Monty talk. Yeah. Okay, I'll shut up now. Why don't we let this go through here and see what Monty wants to say. And Scott, for that matter. Call Monty. Yes, I will. Monty wants to call me now. Okay. Am I in trouble, Monty? I'm glad I don't live close to you. I'm sure you could do some damage. I will call you and explain, really. Well, guys, I think I've just been given a mission. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to sign off, and I think you understand why. I can't. He will call you now, he said. Oh, great. Well, don't. I use my phone for this transmission, so tell him to wait until I hang up, and it takes a few minutes to process. So tell him to wait 15 minutes and then give me a call. Okay, Scott and Monty, please. 15 minutes. Scott probably gave you my phone number. Great. So after we sign off here, give me 15 minutes because my phone has to process all this, and we'll go from there. And I promise, guys, I'll be back later. Not today, probably, but we'll get back to talking on these things again, okay? All right, I'm out of here because I think we've got something important coming. Bye-bye.